Okay, so the person asked, what's wrong with handing out Ellen G. White books? Nice brand new account, by the way. Are you asking what's wrong as, is it a sin? Because if that's the case, it's not a sin. And there's nothing wrong with handing out an Ellen G. White book. But is it necessary? Is handing out an Ellen G. White book necessary? That's no, it's not necessary. In reality, Ellen G. White is not necessary for any person that believes in God. But the SDA Church does like to present Ellen G. White as some sort of essential figure. In the same way that conferences are doing unnecessary things, churches are also preaching about an unnecessary person. Well, what's wrong with Ellen G. White? All right. Before I answer that, I need to clarify something. In the first video, I mentioned that some of my theology classes gave out easy grades for very minimal work. But you want to know of two classes where the professors made sure to assign us enough reading and writing work in order for us to earn good grades? One of them was called Ellen G. White / Adventist Theology, and the other one was Adventist Heritage and Mission. So, knowledge-wise, I think I can answer the question, what's wrong with Ellen G. White? And my answer is, nothing is wrong with her. She was a woman back in the 1840s who loved to write about the Bible, and she was fundamental in the growth of the SDA Church. Based on her life and everything that I studied about her, it doesn't appear like she had any bad intentions. I think the better question is, what's wrong with the people that mention Ellen G. White excessively? No one can deny that Ellen G. White had a great influence and she helped shape the SDA Church in its early days. But to then preach about her like some sort of figure that merits extraordinary recognition, no, it's not needed. We can narrow it down to a very simple question, as if we were in a game show or a test. The question is, in order to be saved, you need to know about blank. Is the answer A, Jesus, B, Ellen G. White, or C, all of the above? We know what the answer is. And I understand that when we're presented with certain statements, our first inclination is to defend our already established positions. It would be very arrogant for any person to believe that their religion or their church has everything figured out. And if you do believe your religion or your church has everything figured out, then please let me know and teach us mere mortals how to properly do it. However, if you believe your religion or your church is not perfect, then you need to be open to have discussions about it. Listen to what this SDA pastor says.
Hay personas que no pueden vivir por fe y por eso hay personas que se hacen dependientes de instituciones religiosas, porque si le quitan la institución religiosa, no saben cómo vivir por fe. Y por eso hay personas que cuando desde un púlpito se habla de reformar la institución religiosa, dicen, están en contra de la institución mía. No digan nada en contra de la institución. Me quitan a Dios. Hay gente que necesita ver para poder creer. Y entonces están dispuestos a aceptar cualquier error en la institución religiosa con tal de ver algo. Con tal de tener algo que los guíe, que les diga que los saque de Egipto, que los guíe a la tierra de Canaán. Algo que les dé un poquito de contención, porque si no se pierden. Y eso pasó en la pandemia. Le quitaron un montón de gente el templo y se olvidaron de Dios. Porque estaban relacionados con el templo.
I agree. There are people who believe, don't say anything against my institution, don't say anything against my religion. What happened when Jesus came to earth the first time? Part of his ministry was him challenging the established religion leaders, the traditions, the interpretations, and they rejected Jesus because they thought they had religion figured out. Every generation throughout history believed they had religion figured out. So Imagine living in the 15th or 16th century when the church was practicing in the sale of indulgences. There were people that believed their entire lives with 100% conviction that they had to pay the church in order for their sins to be forgiven. Today, we look back at this and think, oh my God, I can't believe these people thought that this was the right thing to do. Well, hindsight is 2020. And even today, we might say, yeah, but that was hundreds of years ago. Not really. In the 1900s, you had the prosperity gospel. These were people that were teaching that faith would lead to great wealth, to good health, and great success. There were also many churches that remained racially divided because of segregation, and they thought that this was the right thing to do. Oh my God, but this was other denominations, not the SDA church. In the 1900s, the SDA church was also overemphasizing external behavior, often how you observed the Sabbath or how you dressed and what you ate were used as measurements of righteousness. And kind of thinking about it, it still kind of happens now in the SDA church. The church also focused way too much on end time prophecy, warning people about the persecution, which led to people joining the church out of anxiety and not out of love for Jesus. Which, by the way, certain SDA pastors still, from certain countries, still preach fear based evangelism. I remember during the pandemic, one pastor shared a story in which he was trying to get people to get baptized. One woman didn't want to, and right before this woman got on the bus to leave, the pastor told her, if you get on that bus without getting baptized, the devil is going to get on that bus with you. So the woman decided to get baptized out of fear. History teaches us that each generation require for their religion to be reformed or improved. So are we going to be arrogant and declare that our religion does not need any reformation or improvement? So with that in mind, I would like to start a healthy discussion. If you are an Adventist, how do you think your church and or religion can improve?